Good evening. I want to welcome everyone to the January 2021 school board meeting. It is crazy that it's already January and that we've made it through a semester in the middle of this chaos. And I just want to welcome everybody here, and we're glad to see you. I want to welcome everyone online, and just thank you for being here tonight. Board, I want to turn it over to Dr. Cleveland. Would you like to introduce our guest, please?
Absolutely. Tonight we have Mr. Cray Cothran. Cray, would you please come to the podium, please? For the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the
Good evening, Cray. We're glad you're here, and we just would love to hear from you for a few minutes and hear about your experiences in Springdale.
Of course. So, my experience with Springdale is I went to Tyson School of Innovation at the beginning of my 9th grade year, and I've been there till the end of the 11th. And this past semester, I've been a virtual student through the VIA from Tyson School of Innovation.
How's that experience going?
It started off pretty difficult. I would say that Tyson School of Innovation really prepared me for it by making sure that I knew what to do with myself, and I didn't need a teacher, but I only wanted a teacher. So I could push myself through this class, and whenever I needed help, I had it, but I definitely couldn't have done it just by myself, or if I didn't push myself. So I was really prepared, and I was able to finish the semester off really well.
Awesome.
Tell us a little bit about some of the things that you've done while at Tyson.
So I've really been in the robotics program, and throughout this program, we've been invited to the World Championship many times, and we've also been Team USA 2 years in a row, last year and this year.
That's impressive. And I see also that you're going to graduate with 2 associate's degrees.
Yes, that is, I'd say the best thing about the district is that they've given me a lot of opportunities, and you can either not take these opportunities and you still have a great system that helps you, or if you push yourself, they help you push yourself even further. And I'd say that's pretty different than other districts where they kind of want you to just follow like a script. But here, I was able to get 2 college degrees because they helped me.
So what are your 2 degrees in, and how are you going to use those to go and get your bachelor's degree? I'm assuming that's the plan.
So my degrees is an associate's in science and an associate's in arts. I will be using the associates in science to finish my major of choice, which right now is biology at the U of A, in 3 years comfortably. And I could do it in 2.5 if I wanted to, but I plan on going pre-med, and so that extra semester will give me time to prepare for the MCAT. So that's how I'm using that degree to further.
Sounds like a good plan. Well, good.
Or do you have any more questions? Do you have family here tonight with you?
Yes, my father.
Would you like to introduce him to us?
Wade Cothran, and he's my adopted father, and he adopted me when I was 3 months old, and he's been a great one. For all I can say.
It's awesome.
I guess my last question for you before you go is, what would you tell a student that's thinking about going to DTSOI?
I would say to get the full experience of DTSOI, you have to push yourself. And again, if you don't, you can follow the path that they've laid out and you can be successful. But you can also grab hold of the opportunities that are there and get 2 college degrees before even your senior year.
That's pretty cool. Are you like the first person to have 2? I mean,
I'm not sure.
Ms. Tischer's saying yes.
that's pretty amazing, so,
Congratulations.
good job.
Thanks for representing our district so well. That's awesome.
We're very proud and can't wait to see where you go from here.
Thank you for the opportunities that have laid out for me.
Yeah, good.
You can come back in about 5 or 6 years as Dr. Cothran.
Yeah.
There you go.
Very good.
For 6 or 8 years, however long.
Thank you.
Long time.
Board, you've had time to look at the agenda. Do we have any changes? Then is there a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
There's a motion by Mr. Emerson, a second by Mr. Bell to accept the agenda as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Then we have the consent agenda with the board minutes, the financial statement for December, and the out-of-district transfers, and school board training hours.
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
There's a motion by Mr. Hutchinson, a second by Mrs. Creek, to accept the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Dr. Cleveland?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. As you know, this month is School Board Appreciation Month, and usually, the Arkansas School Board Association promotes that heavily, and they've done that again this year, along with the Arkansas State Board of Education and our governor, the Honorable Asa Hutchinson. There's a proclamation in front of you that I've printed out. It's also digitally provided to you from our governor and also the State Board of Education. If you'd like me to, I'll be happy to read those. If not, you can read those yourselves, and we can forego that. What would you like, Ms. President?
We can read it.
We can read it, okay. I thought that might be your call. But also, additionally, in recognition of School Board Appreciation Month, you have some things in front of you, and some of you may have them behind you, that are really, really special. So if you wouldn't mind, I know it may be somewhat embarrassing to you to open a present maybe in front of everyone, but you have some presents from your students in our district, East programming, and one very special framed present that I think that you'll treasure for the remainder of your life, and then after, your children will. One of the most remarkable things I've seen. There are caricatures. If you'll look at the bottom, I can't say her name, nor can I read it without my glasses. But a young lady at SHS, is Mr. Trent Jones in the room? I know he's downstairs, he'll probably run up. But he came up with the idea. The young lady at SHS drew each one of them. I was pretty jealous, actually, when I saw yours, thinking I would like to have one myself. But they're amazing. Mr. Emerson, how does yours look?
Can I just say that I'm thankful that they make me look young? I mean, they've taken away all of the wrinkles and the gray hair,
Well,
and Nick looks like Superman. And
Clark Kent.
I personally think they're amazing. The only thing that would have been even more funny is if they'd had a mask. But, we want to also let you know that our athletic department's provided you a pullover so you can wear to the games if you're out and about and support your teams and in our community.
Open this too.
Yeah, you can open it all. It is. I just think that the caricatures are amazing. Don Tyson School of Innovation Culinary Arts provided you a cake, a small individual cake.
And which East program did these? Who did these?
Someone from Springdale High.
Okay.
Trent actually knows the backstory. I wish Trent was up here.
I'll never-
Bailey Jones helped collect most of the presents, so.
Well, thank you very much. They're all very special, and we will.
It's awesome, so very much. Well, unfortunately, as Mr. Randy Hutchinson always points out, the pay is just so much at zero that, at least we can show you appreciation through a couple of trinkets, so it's wonderful.
They double it every year.
Yes. Trent, would you like to, I have failed to remember or write down the young lady's name who created the caricatures, and I'd like for you to talk about that.
All I heard was, he'll be running up the stairs, and I was like, that has to be me. I hope you really like that. Just so thankful for Noelle Lutard is her name.
Yes.
She's an art student and an East student at Springdale High School. And then the Springdale High School East program, along with Helen Tyson East program, made those, framed them, and then made you your own coasters.
Cool.
Isn't that cool? And then the culinary students at Don Tyson made you some cakes over there too. Which, trust me, it was hard to get those wrestled away from me. I was like, how many did you guys make me? But seriously, for this month, we really wanted to, particularly in this year, and for this board and for Dr. Cleveland, we really just wanted to let the students have an opportunity to say thank you. So the work that you guys have done since July, I mean, you're a very established board and do a lot of great work, but just this year in particular, we wanted you to hear from the students' voices. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Trent.
Thank you.
They're awesome.
Ms. Cook, next we have, we didn't get to recognize Ms. Creek. She was unavailable last month. And the Arkansas School Board Association, Ms. Creek recognized you for reaching the Master Award, the number of hours that were necessary, at least 50 hours for board members elected since 2018. So you've done an excellent job accumulating those hours, and we just wanted to recognize you publicly for your work. So thank you. I know Mr. Hutchinson's particularly tickled that he would like for everyone to have at least the master and pinnacle and so forth.
That's right.
because He's the secretary of the School Board Association.
I'm just glad Kevin wasn't here tonight. He still thinks he never got his, so
Oh, is that right?
feeling hurt.
Okay. Well, excellent. Next, Ms. President, we have very special recognition, and I would like for you to be able to take care of this, if that's okay.
Dr. Rollins, if you will join me here. We are so excited. Yeah. And the board hasn't all always seen bits and pieces, but we're so excited to present to you a rendering of the Dr. Jim D. Rollins Elementary School. It's going to be a beautiful school and has a wonderful legacy already. So we're excited. And we also have we also have Trailblazer socks for you. Do we want to get a picture with the board before, after Dr. Rollins want to say a few words?
That would be great. Well, would you like to speak first and then take the picture?
And we can lean this against, and then we'll get a picture. We're here.
Okay, we're getting your exercise.
Mistake. The Jim D. Rollins Elementary School of Innovation, Dr. Rollins.
What do you think? Well, the team has worked very hard to get that.
That's beautiful. Thank you
Yes, sir.
very much.
Dr. Rollins, we have to thank Brad Chilcote from WD&D as well. He pulled the magic together to frame that for you and have it presented this evening.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. You break a lot of cameras there, Trent. You got it? You good?
Yes, when you're done, we'll take one with everybody. If that's okay.
This is really a dangerous precedent. As you know, Jared told me earlier, take all the time you want.
You should know better than that.
It's your night. Go ahead.
It is a very special moment for me, and I thank each of you for helping make this possible. Dr. Cleveland, you and the staff, I want to express heartfelt thanks for your great work as well. You can't visit this room or this building or any of our schools without knowing what a very special place our schools are. And to have my name associated with that is very special to me and certainly to my family. I just want to say again that it's the work that matters. It's the relationships you build with your board, with your administrative team, with your teachers, with our parents, and very importantly, with our students that stay with you throughout time. We contemplated a lot of possibilities when the new DTSOI was formulated and came forward, but I have to attest, we did not talk about 2 associate's degrees. That's what a story, what a legacy that young man represents from the standpoint of what our school system is all about. So I must tell you that touched me as I know it had to each of you as you heard his presentation this evening. It is about our students. It always has been. It always will be in this school district because great leaders like yourself, great educators like our president on this team throughout that will provide those kind of possibilities. And I got to tell you, it doesn't matter if you're immersed in the school system or if you're looking at it from just a short distance, the great pride that you have in terms of what is done here for our students. And I encourage you to always add, and our families, every day. So it is with great honor that I stand here this evening, and I thank you for the recognition that you've made available to me and my family. I will forever appreciate it. Thank you all.
Together, if you want to just get right there in the middle, and I'll try my best to get a good picture of you.
You pull this out of the way.
Hi. I'll be able
No, I'll try to do this as fast as possible. Okay, you guys ready? Right here. Okay, everybody's right here on me. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. One more here. 1, 2, 3. Last one. Okay, we're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Something I thought about with this is my kids still to this day think about their elementary school was named for Mr. Hunt. And they loved the fact that they got to meet him and all of the time with him before. And so I look forward to seeing how our students and how their chances to get to learn from you and get to know that the school that they go to is not a truly. Thank you all for your time.
Oh,
It's beautiful.
I hadn't heard that.
Thanks, Trent.
I think he got the name, but I haven't heard that.
Dr. Cleveland, Trailblazers is the mascot. Yeah. Yeah, I love it.
You got someplace in that new office, Dr. Rollins, to put that?
Yeah.
There you go. Good. Looks good. You bet.
Now, does the case, is the, Brad, this is yours, correct?
Nice. Yeah.
Thank you, board. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, sir.
I think we're good.
It's fine, I just didn't know if I wanted to make sure that I think Marcia has.
You going?
Well, just getting everything out there.
That was
It's
fun.
exciting.
That was fun. I guess it's back to work. Ms. Cook?
We're on to the academic calendar.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Cook, we have Ms. Jill Law, Chairman of the PPC, here this evening, who has done tremendous work in years past, and certainly this last year has been no exception. So she's a true leader among her peers, and she works on the calendar, and she takes ownership of this thing, so.
Well,
Ms.
good
Law?
evening, everyone. So yes, we have our academic calendar. We had two calendars that we gave our staff an opportunity to vote on. We had, I think we had about 1,400, almost 1,500 teachers vote. 1,444 was how many people actually voted. And they voted for calendar B. The only difference between the two calendars was the way we broke up our Christmas break. On one calendar, we broke it up where we went a couple of days the week of the 20th and came back a little bit later in January, still 10 days off at a school. The majority of the teachers, 67.5% of the teachers did choose calendar B, which is a two full weeks straight. So that's the one we went with. And they were able to choose the flex day, which is the day that we, for teachers that did their in-service 6 hours of professional development in the summertime, they don't have to go to one of the teacher in-services during the school because they've already put in those hours. They chose a February one because from that Martin Luther King January day to spring break is kind of a long stretch, and it's good for the kids and the teachers to have a break in February. So the majority, I think we're up to like 67% again on that one. 68% of teachers chose a February one instead of an October one.
And it's
So
on Valentine's
that's the
Day.
and it's on Valentine's Day. So if people want to take a long weekend and go off for the weekend for Valentine's Day, then they can go do that. So, so this is the calendar we want to present to y'all. Do y'all have any questions? And this calendar does have us, everybody getting out before Memorial Day, which is always a thumbs up.
Yes.
Yep, you bet.
Board, if there aren't any questions, do I have a motion? Thank you, Jill.
You're welcome.
Make a motion that we approve calendar B as voted on by the committee.
Second.
I have a motion by Mrs. Creek and a second by Mr. Emerson to approve calendar B for the 2021, 2022 school year. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Calendar has passed. Thanks again, Jill.
Thank you, Ms. Law.
Good job, as always.
Thank you very much. My term is up, so I don't know if I'll
You better.
We may come after you if you do.
Don't mess things up.
I know, okay, I'll be back.
Okay. Thank you.
She's wonderful. Ms. Cook and Board, next I know you know about the COVID extension, or the COVID leave extension plan that you've been so good to provide feedback about, that we have proposed. We have Ms. Clay, who's helped really pull this together. We've had extensive conversation about the COVID proposal. It just appeared to us, and I know ours is relatively unique compared to some across the state. In fact, many superintendents across the state have recommended ours going forward. They like what we've done. But we felt like it didn't seem fair for our staff members to get 20 days first semester and some not use any. And then just because the COVID leave runs out December 31st, have to use any sick days for the second semester. So the plan developed, is if everyone were to receive a maximum of 20 COVID leave days for the school year. Now, with ESSER $2, we believe that we'll be able to reimburse ourselves from ESSER 2 funds that are coming our direction for these additional days. Now, it's 20 days maximum. Beyond that, you have the opportunity for FMLA and some other things. But if you have any questions, Ms. Clay's in the audience. She'd be happy to come to the podium to answer. I know we talked about it back and forth.
Do we need to vote on?
Yes, ma'am. It would be a board policy.
20 days max for the school year.
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
I'll make a motion to accept the COVID leave extension proposal.
There's a motion by Mr. Ramos, a second by Mr. Bell to accept the extended COVID leave proposal. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you so much. I know our staff is really appreciative of all that you have done as a board to help support them in all of this. And I just don't believe there's been a better board that's been more responsive and taking more responsibility than you. So thank you. Really appreciate it. Legislative update. As you all are aware, the legislature has convened over the next several weeks, and I know your direction to me as superintendent is to represent our district. I've been very fortunate to have been selected as a co-chair of the Finance and Facilities Committee for the Arkansas Administrators Association. So I will be in Little Rock every Wednesday. Historically, we all would go to the Senate Ed Committee meeting in the morning of Wednesday, every Wednesday, and then in the afternoon, we would meet as a group, a superintendent group, to discuss bills and come together and, really dissect the things that come forward. This year with COVID, the Senate has elected to change their traditional ways. Now, they're going to meet in the afternoons on Wednesdays. So it'll mean I need to be in Little Rock about 8 o'clock every morning on Wednesday for our work to begin. And as a chair, we dissect all the bills. You're going to get inundated with all kinds of information. I hope that's still what you want. The School Board Association has Bill Tracker. Our AAEA has Bill Tracker, and I'll share those with you. Mr. Emerson's volunteered to be part of that with the School Board Association, so thank you, Mr. Emerson. So that is now starting. So in the morning, I'll get up and leave at around 5 o'clock, and I need to be in Little Rock for the Superintendent Symposium. We got breakfast with my co-chair for facilities and finance, Dr. Wayne Fawcett, and then we'll go into the Superintendent Symposium, and then I have a AAA meeting too on Friday morning. So a lot that is going on this week, but I'll be back and forth to Little Rock. I understand that's the directive that you've placed in front of me, and I look forward to the opportunity. I do have some caution about our legislative season. As you know, very likely there are some voucher bills that are now on the table that may come forward, and some other things that may or may not be so good for public schools. So it is an opportunity to have robust discussion, and that's the good part about the legislative season. But I can assure you that your team that's in this room is very committed to helping not just our district, but our public school brothers and sisters across the state make sure that we have the best opportunity for our students moving forward. So that's as much of an update as I have. I'm sure in February, the opportunity for that legislative update may be a little longer. Next is consider a date for school board work session. Ms. Cook and I have been discussing the opportunity for a work session. As you know, we've gotten our dates kind of off on traditional work session dates. So Ms. Cook has selected a few dates maybe to look at.
I think we came up with dates.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay.
February 18th or February 1st. Can you look at both of those dates? And that's in the order of ranking of how.
Well, I can assure you, you control my calendar, so I'm happy to I'm happy to say
Well,
the
let's put
18th.
February 18th down right now,
Okay,
noon to 4.
well, that works really well.
Okay.
Is that all right with you, team? Okay. Okay. Yes, ma'am, that works great.
From noon to 4?
Mhm.
Here,
Upstairs.
are we gonna have lunch and then
Yes.
meet, or?
Yes, sir, we'll have the meal ready by 11:30, and however you want to do it. Is that okay with you all? Okay.
School board work session,
February
11:30 to 4.
On Thursday. Perfect,
It's official.
perfect. Thank you all that was quick. That was quick. Do I need to coordinate with Mr. Owenby too?
We'll pass it along.
Gotcha. All right, perfect. Okay, we have an update on the sale of property, if you're ready, Ms. Cook. Okay, Mr. Hayes? Mr. Hayes has done a really good job. He and Ms. Clay, along with Charlie Harwell, have pulled a lot of information together. Just taking some time.
Oh, it was already there. Okay, I just wanted to show y'all that we now have a button on the website, the front of the website that says properties for sale. And once, if an interested person clicks on that, then it comes up with this. And once you click on any of the individual pictures, then you will see detailed, including of the buildings, you can see inside the buildings as well. We took pictures inside the building. The ad comes out in the paper starting tomorrow, and it will be published for the next 3 weeks. And the bids are due in February 3rd. And so, anyway, we are moving forward. So, do you have any questions for me?
And, go ahead.
What's our actual website? Is it Springdale?
sdale.org.
sdale.org?
sdale.org.
www.sdale.org.
SDALE.
That's right there on that first page where they can click on it.
Well, it's in the ad that we're putting out. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And what's the procedure from there after we get the bids in?
When the bids must be turned in by February 3rd, I think it's at 1 o'clock. I'm sorry, I don't
That's
have it in
correct.
front of me. Is that correct?
Yes.
They have to be in a sealed bid, and they have to be delivered to this office. And then at 2 o'clock, we will do a live stream event where the bids are opened. We normally would do a public bid opening where everyone could come, but because of COVID restrictions, we're going to do a live stream instead.
Okay.
No bids will be approved that day. It's just the opening, and then you all would have the, I guess, the responsibility of either accepting or rejecting at the next board meeting.
Okay, so it can wait till the following board
I'm sorry?
meeting.
That's
Yes.
the third, when you
And also, right below the pictures, I didn't make a bunch of slides, but it has the instructions to the bidders so that they know how to properly, in the bid form, so they'll know how to submit their bid and all of the details.
And that's up and active right now,
Yes,
right?
it is.
Okay.
It is.
Great.
All right. May I go on to the next item? Or does anybody have any more questions about sale of property?
We don't need to vote on anything since we did before, so we're good on that.
Yes, ma'am, you're correct.
Okay.
Right. After we receive bids, we will bring those back to you for action. Okay, if there are no more questions on that, the next item I have for you, board, is a disclosure of a related party. As y'all know, we are required to do this anytime we have the potential of doing business with a company who is owned or partially owned by an employee. So the one I present to you tonight is M&P Investment Holdings, which do business as Dimes Meat Market. Dimes Meat Market has recently changed hands, and one of the owners in M&P Investments is Kimberly Proctor, and Ms. Proctor is an employee of the school district. So wanted to disclose that relationship and just explain that we would only do business with them in the event that bids are taken and they're the best deal for the money. So I would ask that the board approve this resolution allowing us to do business if the condition warranted.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution for the related party disclosure.
A motion by Mr. Hutchinson, a second by Mr. Ramos to accept the disclosure agreement. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you. Next, I think Mr. White's going to come up and give you a construction update.
Okay, so I've got just a few pictures on the construction, which, as you know, the fuel pumps are done. That job's complete. And these pictures they were taken at the end of the week last week. So these have actually gained progress since we've taken the photos. But that's the Tyson School of Innovation you're looking into the PAC. They actually have started putting on the wood paneling on the walls, so it's coming together really well now. You can see the progress.
Remind me how many that will seat? Or does it-
1,200.
Yeah, it's 1,200. It's the same as HAR-BER. So, and this is actually their dance studio, and we've got the floor in, and it's pretty much buttoned up now. So it looks really well. At Springdale High, they're starting on the waterproofing the roofs and everything, getting ready for the metal panels. And then they're getting a lot of the mechanical work done inside, the heating and air, the plumbing, all of that is getting done right now. HAR-BER, they've got most of the exterior walls completed. And then they've also started the interior walls, and those are just to fur out around those beams. And then the HAR-BER locker rooms are a little bit behind. We've run into weather, but they're still making some progress. They've got some more block work done inside and getting ready for the rafters. The parking lot is pretty much done. They've got the curb and gutters in. They've just got to do final grading and asphalt when the weather permits, and that'll be done. Then they could start final grade around the parking lot. So it's looking really well. So this is at Rollins Elementary, and it actually looks a lot different today than it did when we took these pictures. They actually have steel in the air. So it showed up at the 1st of January or around the 4th, and it's actually standing, and you can see some of the structure now. So you can really see the progress now on it. That's all I have, unless you guys have any questions.
Still opening in August?
Right now, we're on track. We haven't had any delays. The metal was one of the worries. You know, that's a lot of our worry, is getting the products and keep the schedule that we have.
Yeah.
But so far, we've been able to do that. We haven't had any shutdowns for COVID or anything. So it's going on track. They're doing really good. We've had a few weather days, but it hadn't affected our end-of-date schedules yet. So hopefully we stay on track.
So the only project that we might be a little behind on is the HAR-BER
Yeah.
locker rooms?
Yeah, and in the weather,
Okay.
it's just been wet for the block layers, but they'll catch up, I think, pretty quick,
Okay.
now with it
That's good.
getting colder and drier, so I think we'll catch back up on that. We haven't moved the finish date on those, so we should catch up.
The interesting thing with Rollins Elementary School, if you're interested in this kind of thing, and I really am, they're building the outside structure. It's a 2-story. They're building the outside structure, and then they're going to go inside and build the 2nd story after the roof's already been put up. Mr. Chilcote was telling me how unique this was. Usually they start with the first layer, then go to the 2nd layer. But in order to not have those delays, having the roof system up first is quite unique and will speed up the process. So my question was, why don't they build all of them that way?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyway, I think it's because Mr. Chilcote needed some additional you know. Anyway, have to give him a hard time all the time.
Thanks.
Mr. Donnell?
Good evening, Board and Dr. Cleveland. Tonight, I'd like to recognize and say thank you to our wonderful community partners for their contributions to our students, parents, staff, and community. Helen Keller once said, "Alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much." Our community partners have certainly brought this belief to light, and I want to say thank you to our community partners. I'd like to bring special attention to, since the beginning of this year, we've received over $600,000 in monetary donations and 65 pallets of donated supplies. And these are just a few of the many. And again, I would like to just say thank you for all the possibilities that our community partners are making for our students and families. Any questions? Okay.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, good evening, Board. I'm here tonight to share some very special recognitions of some of our hardworking teachers in our district. But before I recognize them, I wanted to give you a little bit of background about the PAEMST Award, which stands for the Presidential Awards for Excellence in Mathematics and Science Teaching. The Presidential Award for Excellence in Mathematics and Science Teaching are the highest honors bestowed by the United States government specifically for K-12 science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and/or computer science teaching. The awards were established by Congress in 1983. The President may recognize up to 108 exemplary teachers each year. Awards are given to science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and/or computer science teachers from each of the 50 states, District of Columbia, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, the Department of Defense Education, activity schools, or the U.S. territories as a group. The award recognizes those teachers have both deep content knowledge of the subjects they teach and the ability to motivate and enable students to be successful in those areas. Since the program's inception, more than 5,000 teachers have been recognized for their contributions in the classroom and to their profession. Awardees reflect the expertise and dedication of the nation's top teaching corps, and they demonstrate the positive impact of excellent teachers on student achievement. The National Science Foundation administers PAEMST, or on behalf of the White House Office of Secretary and Technology Policy. So we have 3 outstanding teachers who are finalists for this very prestigious award. Lindsay Hall from Young Elementary, she's a finalist in math. Stephanie Long from Turnbow Elementary is a finalist in science. And finally, Lisa Taylor from Shaw Elementary is a finalist in science. So hopefully by the end of fall, beginning of spring next year, we will know who is going to represent Arkansas. And we're hopeful that it'll be 2 of these 3 teachers. So good job. And I was curious as I was putting this together how many Springdale teachers have actually won this award. And we have 9 teachers in our district who have received this prestigious award. So we're hopeful we'll be adding 2 more. Thank you.
Good evening, Dr. Cleveland and Board. I also have a few exciting recognitions to make this evening. My recognitions are for student achievement. And although the students aren't here due to COVID, escalating numbers and such, I did encourage them to watch the live streams at home with their parents, and so I hope they're watching as they're being recognized. And also, I asked them if they would like to submit a statement that I could read to you, so this would be a more personalized recognition and you could hear a little bit of their voice through mine. So the first recognition is for Cindy Ledesma Alanis, and Cindy is a senior at Springdale High School. She has recently been named a semifinalist for the 2021 Coca-Cola Scholars Program. And just a little bit about that program. She is one of 1,609 seniors selected from a pool of, prepare yourself, 99,403 submitted applications based on academic excellence, leadership, and service demonstrated in school and community activities. And so Cindy will now move into phase 2 of the application process, which includes essays, teacher recommendations, transcripts, and then an independent committee will review the applications and select 250 students from those 1,609 to be named Coca-Cola Scholars. And if they're named, they receive a $20,000 college scholarship and have the opportunity to participate in the Coca-Cola Scholars Leadership Development Institute. And in terms of our district, we've only had one other Coca-Cola scholar, and some of you may remember who it was. It was Sojas Wagle. And so Cindy is very hopeful that she will be the second. And so here is the statement that she prepared for you this evening. The Coca-Cola experience was a challenging process to apply for during the semifinalist round, since I had finals due the week of the scholarship deadline, and I also had to prepare for my Christmas dessert orders. I had to organize my schedule. Thankfully, my time management skills that I have developed through the IB program have come in handy. I set a specific time to work on the application, complete my schoolwork, and run my dessert business the week of the deadline. The Coca-Cola application made me reflect on my personal goals and how I want to give back to my community in the future. If I wouldn't have joined the International Baccalaureate program or the Business and Informational Technology Academy, I wouldn't have met people who were willing to help me review my application. With this being said, I want to thank Molly Bombinato and Santoshi Nandavada from the University of Arkansas MBA Mentorship Program, along with my teachers, for taking time out of their lives to review my application. I am planning to attend the University of Central Arkansas to study international business and management. I have applied for the Hispanic Heritage Scholarship, Burger King Scholarship, Coca-Cola Scholarship, McDonald's HACER National Scholarship Program, Mildred Brading Mary Alice Elam Scholarship, and other local scholarships. I should be notified by late January and February of this year in terms of receiving scholarships. My Entrepreneurship and International Baccalaureate Business Management teacher, FBLA, Business and Information Technology, and Legacy's Junior Bank Board Advisor, Shannon Green, she would like to recognize her, teacher at Springdale High School. She would also like to recognize the International Baccalaureate Program Coordinator, Ms. Carol Turley, and also Business and Information Technology Academy and IB Program Counselor, Ms. Anique Downing. Also, her dad, Ruben Ledesma Castillo, and her best friend, Katie Oliveras. Thank you for always supporting and providing me with personal and academic resources when I needed them the most. Your enthusiasm to further my education and persevere through difficult situations has helped me shape the person I am today. Your efforts will never go unnoticed, and I will continue to be grateful for the endless opportunities you all have given me. Thank you. So that is Cindy's statement for you this evening. Can we give her a round of applause? Okay, and then you may be familiar with the Quest Bridge National College Match Program. This year, we have three finalists for Quest Bridge. Quest Bridge is a program that is really geared towards reaching low-income and first-generation college students across the entire nation. And they work with these students through a rigorous application process to provide them with scholarship money and sometimes with actual scholarship matches to universities, and so throughout the process, students can pref schools that they think they might be a good match for. And if they end up a match, they can accept a full scholarship package from that school. Sometimes they don't match, but being a Questbridge finalist tends to put them in the front of the pool when they apply to other colleges. And so they typically receive pretty hefty financial packages, scholarship packages from schools. And so from Springdale High School, we have Juana Araujo, who has been named a Questbridge finalist. And we also have Lizbeth Lopez from Springdale High School, who has been named a Questbridge finalist. Juana Araujo said she would like to recognize her parents, Ana Martinez and Victor Araujo, and she wanted you to know that she has applied to Vassar, Pomona College, and the University of Tulsa, and she is awaiting word back on her potential for financial packages and scholarships from those schools. Lizbeth Lopez said that she would like to recognize her parents, Eduardo and Inez Lopez. She said that she is waiting on information from Questbridge schools that she's applied to. She's not yet certain where she wants to attend, but she has been accepted to several schools. She is strongly considering UCA and the University of Tulsa. So far, she's been offered a Tulsa academic scholarship in the amount of $100,000 for 4 years. And she has also been offered, so far, the $1,000 freshman academic scholarship to UCA. And so those scholarship offers for her will continue to, and for Juana, will continue to come in, and they will determine where they might like to go to school. Our other Questbridge finalist was matched to Rice University. His name is Jesus Terrazas, and he is a student at HAR-BER High School. And I actually have a typo on my slide. He actually received $280,000 to Rice University. And so this is what Jesus prepared for you. Before I had heard of Questbridge, the University of Arkansas seemed like my only and safest option. Sometime in August, I received a letter that told me of getting a full ride to one of many well-known universities, and I decided I may just give it a try. As the application deadline directly to Questbridge neared, I had begun actually dreaming about living the college life. I looked at a few places based on what I had been told about them and checked to see what kind of life each of the places offered. The application to become a finalist on September 29th would determine whether I would participate in the match process. If applicants wanted to, they could rank up to 12 universities to be considered. Then, if determined a finalist, on October 21st, work on separate, short applications for each university due by November 1st. I had decided on 7 universities and had to wait for decision day on December 1st. When talking to my parents, Martha Herrera and Jesus Terrazas, about the process, I was asked how I felt about my chances. I told them that a good friend said, "You don't have the best of chances, but you don't have the worst." I had also thought that I wasn't particularly well off, though I did still have some hope. I recall the day I was accepted to Rice University on a full ride scholarship estimated at $280,000. I was shocked to where I didn't even know how to react. I was glad, of course, though for the first time in my life, I felt as if I was headed somewhere. It had taken a bit for reality to finally set in for me. Occasionally, I would check to see if my acceptance was still there. It wasn't until I received my official acceptance letter from Rice on December 10th that I finally felt I had enough confirmation. It's now been a month since then, and I feel generally excited for this fall. I think it will be a unique experience, especially compared to my own life, moving to another state away from my family and getting to know a lot of new people in a new environment. It seems almost scary, but it also seems so far away that I can't help to feel only excited. And so that was from Jesus. So that concludes my presentation. And again, can we please give all these awesome
So
Jesus Terraza's parents, I know them personally. They're actually from my hometown in Mexico.
Oh, very
We
cool.
moved here about the same time, so they were little teeny babies when we moved here, and now he's
Look at it.
full grown. So I
Wow.
commend them as parents, and they did well.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing him.
I just hope Texas lets them come back, you know, like, I hate to see our bright ones go away, they need to come back.
Yes, come home and be here in Springdale. You're right about that. So we are blessed, and all of these students have very bright futures ahead of them. So thank you all.
Expectation display.
Well, I don't know how you follow that. I wish my information was as exciting. Would you mind going to the next slide?
Riveting COVID information.
Yes, brace yourselves. As we've presented this semester and this school year, we're following the same format, reviewing our COVID numbers over the past month. You'll see the time period there that we're looking at, which is December 7th through January 10th. There were 610 student and staff positive, which represents 2.7% of the approximately 22,800 on-campus students and staff. 139 staff members, 471 students, and you'll see the percentages there. Again, this data is always interesting when we look at the number of PCCs that were identified. 937 students and staff were identified as PCCs, and 19 of those tested positive. This is a trend that we've seen as far as relatively, well, extremely really low numbers of PCCs that test positive. Again, I'll acknowledge the limitations to the data and that we don't know that everyone does not go and get tested. I think we're seeing more people get tested that are identified as PCCs because with a negative test on day 5 or later, they can come back sooner. So it will be interesting to see in the next month or so if we see that number come up a little bit or if it stays close to the same. But again, relatively little evidence of spread within schools. 15 of the PCCs that ended up testing positive were student-to-student contact, 3 staff-to-staff, and 1 staff-to-student, as best we can tell. Will you go to the next? Oh, I've got a clicker up here, don't I? I'm sorry. So looking at prior months, numbers and percentages, you certainly see a trend of increases in staff and student positives. I can't help but think that the increase in community numbers and statewide numbers contribute to this. I don't think this is anything that is happening in our schools. It's just we're seeing increases in numbers overall across the state. So our students and staffs are members of our community, and those numbers are increasing as well. One thing you notice, the decrease in PCCs this month, keep in mind that Christmas break was covered here, so we had lots of days that had positive cases identified, reported to us with 0 PCCs. That was nice for those few days that it lasted. Again, when you look at the percentages and overall numbers, it's not alarming. Certainly, we sympathize and don't want anybody to get COVID and are doing everything that we can to keep our students and staff safe. And I think those efforts are reflected in the numbers. So do you have any questions about the data before we move on to talk about vaccines? Okay. One thing I will mention is the last month, I believe it was last month, it could have been the month before, where we first started talking about the decrease in quarantines. That appears to have helped our staff number of quarantines quite a bit, in that we're able to rotate our staff members that are quarantined back after 7 days in a lot of cases instead of the full 14. So if anyone, and this graphic didn't translate well to the the slide deck, but if anyone saw the governor's announcement today, he announced that starting on Monday, the state is going to move into the beginning phases of Phase 1B, which will include school district employees. I'm going to ask Mr. Damon Donnell to come and talk about the planning that is happening at our district level to try to quickly mobilize a vaccination effort that would be available to all of our staff members. It is not going to be mandatory, but it is going to be available for all of our staff members. So trying to mobilize that quickly and efficiently, and especially not knowing exactly when the supply of vaccines will be here, even though we know it will be soon, is challenging. But if anybody is up to the challenge, it's Mr. Donnell. So I'll ask him to come and talk about the plan that the district has so far.
So at its simplest, the district plan will be that communications will send out a scheduling invite on Friday. From that invite, then district employees will receive instructions, and really the three biggest instructions are they need to bring a copy front and back of their driver's license, front and back of their insurance card, and then also their COVID immunization consent form. Those are the three things they really need to bring with them. However, we know that some will forget that and not bring that. We'll have copy machines at all three locations to make copies for them if they need that. They'll be able to make appointments for Wednesday. That'll be next Wednesday, January 20th at SHS. Next Thursday, January 21st at DTSY. Next Friday, January 22nd at HAR-BER High School. And we'll do appointments from 12 to 7 p.m. Okay, so if you're an employee in that building, of one of those buildings, you could make an appointment for during the day. If you can get if you're an employee that gets off around noon or 1, you could make an appointment for any of those buildings. So anybody can make an appointment for any building. They don't have to live on the west side or the east side or wherever. They can make an appointment any day that they'd like for any building. Appointments will be scheduled in 10-minute allotments, and district employees can sign up for vaccination appointments that are convenient for them. And currently, we have 2,000 available doses that have been allocated, and more will become available soon. You may ask yourself, what's an appointment look like? An appointment would look like you would walk in. There'll be several check-in stations where you'll check in with those materials that I discussed earlier. Employee will be checked in. They'll be seated in a waiting room that's about 25 people. From there, they will be called to a vaccination station. They'll be vaccinated. From that vaccination station, they'll go to a monitoring room where EMS will be there and others will be monitoring folks. And that will be for 15 minutes. And once they're finished with that, then they're welcome to go about their day. We don't know yet if it'll be the Pfizer vaccine or the Moderna vaccine, but if it's the Pfizer vaccine, we'll do all this over again in 3 weeks. If it's the Moderna vaccine, we'll do all this over again in 4 weeks and offer the same type of system. Do y'all have any questions or?
Are the shots being administered by our nursing staff, or is it an outside?
The shots will be administered by nursing, but the dosing will be by a pharmacist. So all of that so the station will look like this. There'll be a pharmacist here within vaccination stations on each side. So they'll be drawing up doses, handing it to the nurses, and the nurses will be administering those vaccines. I have to brag on Kathy Launder just for a minute. She is amazing. If you don't know her, you need to know her. She's over the top, detail-oriented, enormous attention to detail. And then also Victoria, I never say this name right, Hennessy. She is the owner of a community pharmacy, and I just met her yesterday for the first time, and she's super impressive. So she's going to be heading up this whole process with us, partnering with us.
Any questions?
So you just know the vaccines will be here between now and Wednesday?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
You hope.
Yeah.
And so, like, do they, and if they, let's say they get here tomorrow, I mean, we have a place to store them and all that stuff?
Actually, we're not having anything to do with that. That's all community pharmacy that'll be handling. Actually, they're not even storing them. They actually pick them up and then bring them, and then they dose them once they get there. There's a certain amount of time, so many hours that they can be out.
Yeah, that's what I was
So,
asking.
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Tucker texted me and said that she's not going to be available tonight, but we have a visitor in her place. Nice to have you tonight.
I'm hoping she will get to be at the next one. These times we're in, sometimes we have to be extra cautious, and she's being extra cautious tonight, but she sends a message. So, good evening. Happy School Board Appreciation Month. We greatly appreciate your approval to extend the COVID leave. This is something that will help us all. Many teachers were getting very worried as to what they would do if they were quarantined. Thanks to Dr. Cleveland, his team, and you all for supporting our staff in this way. As the legislative session begins, we will be watching closely and advocating for legislation that supports our students and public education. We are very excited about the proposed adequacy package, as it greatly exceeds the amount budgeted for public education in several years. We look forward to working together with our administrators and you all to support public education and students. Again, happy School Board Appreciation Month. Thank you so much for your dedication and for all you do to support students and staff. And at the end, SEA has sent a gift that I'll pass out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any patron comments or any? If not, then we will adjourn to executive session. the meeting back to order after we have had executive session to discuss personnel issues. And we appreciate everybody for tuning in and for coming to the board meeting tonight. And with that, we adjourn and see you next month.